Everybody keeps asking the same question. Is AI going to take my job? One day you have a job. The next day, some machine does it faster, cheaper, and nobody needs you anymore. But that's not how most power shifts happen. The real shift is quieter. Your boss gets new options. Your team gets smaller. Your raise gets delayed. AI does not have to take your job to change your life. It only has to change your employer's backup plan. The internet loves clean arguments. AI will replace everyone. AI will replace nobody. Learn to prompt, and you're safe. Ignore it, and you're finished. So which one? But real systems almost never move that cleanly. Companies do not need one perfect machine that can replace an entire department overnight. They just need enough automation to make the department cheaper, easier to pressure, and less protected. Replacement is visible. Bargaining power is invisible. And invisible changes are usually the ones that hit first. Bargaining power sounds like some cold economics term, but you already understand it. If your landlord has 10 people waiting for your apartment, you have less power. If a company has 50 people who can do your job tomorrow, you have less power. If your client can replace you with a cheaper vendor by Friday, you have less power. That's all bargaining power is. It's not how hard you work. It's not how much you care. It's how painful it is for the other side to say no to you. How expensive is it to lose you? How risky is it to delay your raise? How hard is it to replace your judgment? And AI matters because it changes those answers. Not in theory. In the actual room where your raise, your promotion, your workload, and your job security get discussed. The word credible is doing a lot of work here. A fallback does not have to be perfect. It just has to be believable enough for the other side to use it in a negotiation. If your manager thinks a smaller team with AI can get 80% of the output, that thought changes the conversation. Maybe they still need you. Maybe they even like you. Maybe they know the AI makes mistakes. But if the alternative is good enough, the pressure changes. Before, losing you meant the project might break. Now, losing you might mean the project gets slower, messier, and more annoying. Because companies can tolerate slower. They can tolerate messier. They can tolerate annoying. What they hate is dependency. And AI is powerful because it gives managers a story where they feel less dependent on you. This is why layoffs are the wrong scoreboard. By the time layoffs happen, the leverage shift has usually been happening for months. The first signs are smaller. Raises get delayed. Backfills disappear. Junior roles become internships. One person is asked to manage a tool that used to support 3 people. The company calls it productivity. The worker experiences it as pressure. Same desk, same badge, same job title, less room to negotiate. The most fragile layer is not always the job with the biggest salary. It is often the job where people learn. Assistants learn by drafting. Analysts learn by cleaning messy data. Junior designers learn by making rough versions. Coordinators learn by handling the boring pieces that teach how the machine works. But those are exactly the tasks AI attacks first. When the bottom rung disappears, the ladder still exists on paper. It just becomes much harder to climb. The entry-level door is still there. But now, the first step is missing. This is where the workplace starts splitting into 2 groups: not employed and unemployed, operators and inputs. The operator decides how the work gets organized. The input gets compared, scored, routed, and replaced inside that system. That is why 2 people can use the same AI tool and get completely different outcomes. One person becomes more valuable because they can direct the machine. Another becomes easier to measure because the machine directs them. So the answer is not to panic. And it is not to pretend AI is fake. The answer is to move up the system. Stop asking, "Can this tool do my task?" Start asking, "Who owns the workflow this task belongs to?" The safer position is not being the fastest person doing the old task. It is becoming the person who redesigns how the task gets done. That means building judgment, taste, and distribution. Judgment to choose the right problem. Taste to know what good looks like. Distribution to make the result matter. If you only do tasks, AI becomes your competitor. If you own outcomes, AI becomes leverage. So no, AI is probably not going to walk into your office tomorrow and take your chair. But it can walk into the budget meeting, the hiring plan, the raise conversation, and the project model. That is where your leverage gets recalculated. Quietly. Before anyone calls it a layoff. The mistake is thinking the game starts when the job disappears. The game starts when the fallback appears. And once you see that, the response gets clearer. Do not fight the tool. Fight to own the system around the tool.